That's me doing Bill Alfonso doing a dog park.
Fucking hell.
Fucking amazing.
Does my head in.
Hayabusa cheap shots Sabu in the corner, and Sabu gets readily upset. Hakushi does his rope walk as well.
Old school.
Oh man,
The Undertaker can only dream of doing
two
this.
ropes
Amazing.
and doing the praying thing as well.
Yeah.
Really, just wow.
Serious video game move. That's unreal.
Amazing. Really, really great stuff. Nice to see these lads in the ring. Nice to see Van Damme and Sabu in the ring with lads who they can keep up with.
Yeah, just wrestling as well. They're not even doing like chair shots or anything yet. They're just wrestling.
Honestly, Sabu botches a lot, folks, and a lot of it is that he just works at, he's fast, he's quick, he's jumping off things, and people can't anticipate, and he fucks it up, and the timing is off.
Yeah.
But when you've got guys, and everyone's that type.
Yeah.
No one's out of place. No one has to change their speed. Everyone can just hit the ground running.
And it clicks.
And as a result of this, you get to see something from Sabu and Rob Van Dam, which you don't usually get to see, which is the fact that these lads can actually wrestle.
Yeah.
Wrestling. They're more than just high spots, and it's great you do get to see some of that here. Arabia pressed by Sabu, who grounds Hayabusa in the corner. We get amazing double team offense from these two guys. Backflip by Orb Van Dam. He flips all the way back and then does a front-facing dropkick to Hayabusa, who's in Sabu's camel clutch.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
Amazing stuff. Very spectacular offense, though, from the Japanese losers, though. I mean, absolutely incredible, the stuff they're doing. They really start kicking it into high gear, start flying off the top ropes. They build up to it nicely, but we get, nice topes, nice planches to the outside as well.
Hayabusa is a serious, NXT superstar, isn't he? He would fit in so well on the NXT roster nowadays.
Rob Van Dam hits a corkscrew guillotine leg drop to the outside. Fucking beautiful move. I love it. These guys managed to brawl beside the crowd without brawling in the crowd, and as a result, I think we're a lot happier. I think from that, Tandem topes by Hayabusa and Jinsei Sunsake. Absolutely fucking amazing stuff. And not before we get... It's incredible. Van Dam puts one of the guys in a Mexican surfboard stretch, and then Sabu does a diving chair shot onto that.
That was sick.
Amazing.
Absolutely phenomenal. Seriously. Stuff that I've never seen. This, again, we said 17 years old, and I've never seen that done elsewhere.
And not since, if I'm honest.
No, that's ridiculous.
Because there's one thing which you're not going to see that, and there's no one who's got that combination of hardcore, using the weapons and whatnot, that hardcore style matched with that intense, strong style, fast-paced, Japanese wrestling,
and athleticism.
Basically. So you're going to see shit like this that you're not going to see elsewhere. Because, in New Japan, they're not jumping off the top rope with chairs.
Yeah.
Right? In NXT, they're not doing that. And in CZW, they're most certainly not fucking, doing stuff of that caliber either.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that this is... ECW does have something special about it. I think
it's eclectic.
It's the meeting of those two things.
It's a genuine mixing pot of styles, isn't it?
Definitely, and that's one thing that to this day, 17 years later, for you to watch that show and go, "Wow, that's a very positive sign for it." Sabu, of course, does at one point when Fonzie throws him a chair, drop it, and everyone boos. But he responds by pointing to the sky. Can I tell a quick Sabu story? It doesn't really fit in anywhere.
Ahead.
I talk about how much I love Sabu. Very, very briefly, I dipped my toe into the world of Irish independent professional wrestling because I did a thing with a band and I was a wrestling villain for a brief moment in time. Then I had to choose between doing my final exams or doing a wrestling show. I did my final exams. I know, I sold out. I'm Seth Rollins. But one of the guys, I found out that he'd wrestled all these interesting people, and I started asking him all these questions about this, that, and the other. Have you wrestled this guy? Have you wrestled this guy? He wrestled Sabu, and he wrestled Rob Van Dam, and I was really, really, really impressed. I was like, wow, tell me everything about Sabu. Sabu, I'm exposing the business, folks, turn off now. Sabu, for a long time, did all of his work through his wife, who was his manager, to the point that if it was someone who he didn't know and hadn't worked with before, he would send his wife to do the spots for him.
Whoa!
Sabu's going to do this. Do you not think you... And she was giving him advice saying, hey, you should, rattle the chair when you riff it up to make people know that you've got,
That's amazing.
Because you didn't use weapons much before. And it's like, wow, that's fucking incredible. Best Sabu story, though, is the fact that Sabu, on these indie shows, where it's a little bit greasier, would carry a railroad spike in his boot at all times. Keep the old railroad spike in there. And why does he have a railroad spike, you might ask? Just in case things go awry.
Jesus.
And that could be anything from promoters running away with money to things not going how they appear. During a match on one of these tours,
Oh, no.
Van Damme and Sabu faced off against each other. During this match, Van Damme allegedly lost a contact lens and had to spend a few moments in the match trying to find his contact lens to the point where a few guys and referees actually had to come out and start looking around the ring. Sabu didn't like what was going on. And literally, just the idea of 5 or 6 people, one of them being Rob Van Dam, trying to find a fucking contact lens.
Innocent act to look for a
And
contact
fucking
lens.
Sabu's in the corner with his hand on a railroad spike in his boot, kind of going, shit's gonna go down at any fucking second. So
Jesus.
there's your Sabu story, folks.
I see what you mean about him still having his mystique.
Most definitely in the fucking spades, my man. Definitely. The pace is unbelievable here, and Rob Van Dam's kicks are El Stiffo, as I would say. Very stiff. Top rope hurricanrana by Sabu, followed by a splash by RVD, with a kick out. And then we just start going. All 4 men in the ring. Quick succession. Amazing spots. Jinsei Sensaki Hakushi hits the Pele kick. He just dives backwards. A backflip kick.
Yeah, I love that kick.
Ahead of its time. A powerbomb followed by the Stardust Splash, also known as the 450 to Rob Van
I
Dam.
should say as well, there is a near fall after almost all of these.
Oh yeah,
moves.
it's non-stop
The
near
false
falls.
finishes give me heart attacks in this match.
And you can generally not tell because you don't know these guys' offense. Like, what's
Exactly.
going to put them away?
That's my favourite thing, when you don't know someone's finisher and any move could end it, because it gets so much more tense that way.
Definitely. So yeah, that 450 splash though by Hayabusa, fucking
Enormous.
amazing, absolutely amazing. Double teamery by Team 420 and more kickouts. Hayabusa hits a knockout punch and brings a table into the ring. And here we go. This starts getting to this ending sequence here. A Van Daminator from corner to corner. So Hayabusa's in the top right-hand corner of the ring. Van Dam's in the bottom right-hand corner. Chairs held up by Fonzie. Van Dam dives across and kicks him in the face. That is fucking incredible.
Ridiculous.
Even by Van Damme standards, that's impressive, okay?
To have reached, not only to have reached the other side of the ring, but to still be high enough up that you can kick him in the face as well.
Yeah. Amazing.
Bravo, seriously.
Again, it wouldn't be a Sabu and Rob Van Dam matches if we didn't have a few moments of the wheels falling off the cart. In this case, the legs falling off the table as guys get set up and the table just kind of slumps down.
Yeah.
And there is kind of a fuck it type moment, and it does get spoiled a little bit. You're lying to yourself if you said that the atmosphere isn't hurt by it.
Of course it is.
But they do.
Cringeworthy.
It's cringeworthy, but they do bring it back towards in the end here, which is Van Dam and Sabu putting both men on a table. They both go to the top. And the timing is amazing. They both explode through that table.
Yeah.
Van Dam and Sabu win. Sabu literally steals the pin from RVD.
Yeah.
And I love that. If it wasn't for those few botches, I would have said this is like one of my all-time favourite matches. But I think, for me, it does kind of... I wish this was kind of like and then they had this match and it was perfect, and fuck everyone who says Van Dam and Sabu fuck up, but they do fuck up, and it does really, it's at really awful moments where it's like a big hit you on the brakes.
There's a couple of, I was quite surprised when you told me at the start of this, because I really enjoyed that match, but I was quite surprised when you said that this is regarded as one of the best ever.
This is like considered one of the reasons why this pay-per-view is considered to be the peak ECW is people are like, Hayabusa and Hakushi against Van Dam and Van Dam and Sabu.
I mean, it's still incredible, don't get me wrong, incredible match, but I think the little niggles in it did bother me a little bit too much. There's a few problems,
strange enough,
little things like it was either Sabu or RVD had a camel clutch in at one point, and it was, honest to God, the worst camel clutch I've ever seen in my life.
Again, there's a little bit of roughness, I think, that kind of shines through when you're bringing in these outside guys, and I think they exposed it just a tad there. That being said,
still,
amazing
I don't want to emphasise that too much, because that was incredible.
Recap of that one time Taz sent Bam Bam Bigelow through the ring. The two that went through there. This is something that ECW did, that WWF did loads. At 98, 99, the year that WWF decided, after seeing ECW, to start putting people through rings. Big Show, Undertaker, Kane.
Always the big guys.
Yeah. They had to cut back because of all the money they were making and make thinner rings so people put them through. But it all was because of this. This was the spot. Bigelow with Taz on his back going through the ring. The big, what? Oh my God. What?
This is the first time that had ever happened in wrestling.
Yeah, this was like the kind of, this was the through the ring moment. And you can think about it, only reading reports, hearing, hearsay.
He did what?
He did what? Bam Bam, because everyone knows Bam Bam Bigelow. What? That's, again, the mystique played up to it here. What do you think of Heyman doing the kind of, imagining him now as we were in his mom's basement with the,
in front of
Sunday night, June 16th, fuck. Him doing this.
I really like it in the sense that I like the sort of low budget. They're just showing videos. Heyman's just explaining it to you. But there is far too much exposition.
Oh, I know. I was just going to say.
Fucking 10 minutes of Heyman telling you what's going on.
Fucking Paul Heyman is like the worst person in an improv troupe ever. But if you go back to this promo, folks, and take every time he says the phrase, but then.
Or, although.
But when Rob Van Dam. But when Sabu, but when the Sandman, but when Raven Fine, but when Shane Douglas, but when the Triple Threat, but when Bam Bam, but.
It's too long.
It just goes on.
There's a reason why the WWF have these really tight little snippy packages where they just cut out, just the important bits.
But when Steve Austin became CEO, but when then he stopped being CEO.
But that's the thing, like imagine if at SummerSlam, Austin versus Undertaker, before that you had
Vince McMahon.
Vince for 15 minutes just explaining to you.
But when we didn't know what side he was on,
he tried to embalm him. God damn it.
But when Paul Bear fell in a sewer. Bam Bam Bigelow, what do you think of the man?
What do I think of the man? Well, before this match, my knowledge of the man was he's big, tattoos all over his head, and I got called Bam Bam Bigelow a lot at primary school and high school.
Yeah.
That's pretty much genuinely the long and short of it.
I'm a big fan.
Don't know much about Bam Bam at all.
Big fan of Bam Bam Bigelow. Been in like every company, been around the world, had success here and there. Bam Bam was someone who I took a long time to take seriously because from a young age my brother christened him to be Space Clown.
Space Clown?
Space Clown, because he looks ridiculous.
I will not argue with that. He does look
he looks a bit like the final boss at the end of Wario Land 3, like, a legit Space Clown, like, but Bam Bam, you could have summed this one up easily with Paul Heyman. Taz was put through the ring by Bam Bam Bigelow. Also, he wants Shane Douglas's belt, but he's injured. So here's Bam Bam Bigelow versus Taz.
That's it. That's all.
But when Bam Bam...
I get the feeling that this is entirely because Paul is so proud of his storylines and his work that he wants to recap every little minutiae of the story.
It's a little thing as well. Yeah, you're right about that, because it's the thing where they're kind of... Any network special or anything now where they talk about ECW, like, oh, we didn't even have stories. But you did, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
You really did.
The past 15 minutes of exposition will tell you.
Yeah, actually, nearly every single match we have had, right, the story's not been forefront, but if you're telling me you just threw guys, no.
They pretty much all of them.
Everyone had a story here, okay? And ECW had a lot more story than I think they were letting on, okay? Maybe it's because they didn't have the production values and the promo packages to actually show you that on pay-per-views and events, but they did have stories.
What was ECW's week-to-week TV show like in terms of, was there many promos in ring and segments?
They would do some in-ring promos, they would do in-ring matches, and then they would do these like Pulp Fiction, is what they would call it. You play Miserlou, the song?
Yeah.
And you just play that and like loads of back-to-back, Mom's Basement, ECW backdrop kind of turn around going. And that's where you would see all that. It was ECW hardcore TV.
So there was still time for like storyline development.
Oh yeah.
On TV,
No, there was. I mean, I'm not saying how dare you try and hide the fact that you had stories because they're shit. Your stories were pretty fucking amazing. You've got amazing characters in here. Not always as ungainly as this, as Heyman trying to explain.
So it's just dawned on me. They're saying how can you possibly claim that ECW didn't have stories when you had the whole fucking thing of Raven kidnapping Sandman's son?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
That's not something that they just made up on the fly in a match.
I know, it's just...
That's a storyline.
It's definitely, and like Heyman we know Heyman's a fucking creative genius, but it's that kind of idea that's just been thrown out there recently, that kind of, ECW, they just fucking, drew names from a hat and then they had a 3-hour pay-per-view. Yes, they had unannounced matches, but there was still stories, but that just needs to be stated, I think. So here it is, the rematch of all rematches. Taz taking on the man who put him through a ring in Asbury Park, New Jersey. It's Bam Bam Bigelow, or B-Cube as I'm also calling him. Triple B. Time to play the game with weird tattoos on your head. Big bill for Taz's entrance. He's like, it starts out, you'll survive if I let you turn in. And it's all like slow, low camera coming up. The kind of Taz is the coolest motherfucker. You know, they're talking about how awesome he is. I really expect him to come out and be like, I'm blind, Jay. You know, I want that Taz to take on Bam Bam.
Oh, I keep forgetting that's the same man.
I want Taz in a cowboy hat and a blind cane doing fucking senton splashes. I want that lad coming out here, you know? Sadly not. Joey Styles, as Taz is coming out, saying, this is a shoot. Taz is the most miserable son of a bitch I have ever met. He's on top of this card, on top of this company, and he's still a miserable son of a bitch.
I would normally be opposed to using the term shoot like that, but in this instance I thought that was really funny.
No, it is. It's very much so. And it's very true as well.
Yeah.
Taz was
a bit of a Mardy bum at the time, wasn't
he had a big face on him.
What a bugger.
A big face on him. Death match to an absolute finish. I suppose the other matches which were to inabsolute finishes.
No, they were just to regular, just whenever you feel like stopping, just stop.
I guess so.
Whereas this one, there will be a finish.
I was wondering if it was anything to do with like absolute values in mathematics or anything like that, but I was reading into it too much, I think. I'm just saying, what they're going on here, right, literally, the second the bell starts, Joey Styles like, oh yeah, it's a death match to an absolute finish now. Pinfalls count anywhere, I guess. Like, he's literally just told.
Yeah.
If this was Jim Ross circa 2000, he'd be fucking incensed.
He'd be so pissed.
Oh, the goddamn commissioner, he's in Vince McMahon's pocket.
Since when? Since when was this a no disqualification?
Who the hell made this an ODQ match? Who the hell is shouting at Howard Finkel for announcing the rules? Like, you son of a bitch!
Take it
back! Immediately starting this match, we just get a powerbomb. Bam!
Yeah.
Splat straight away.
And immediately, I sadly realise that what might be the biggest problem, I think, for me with ECW and the fucking quality of these matches is when we got into this match straight away, I was feeling fucking blown out at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you realise now the importance of having the buffer
Pacing,
matches.
yeah.
Slow it down again for a little bit because we've had non-stop action all night long.
Yeah.
There's not been. You think about it. There's not been a single match where it's been down. Like it's been always up.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was like really like. Whew, okay.
No, it's a big dinner.
And then you have 15 minutes of Paul Heyman shouting before this as well. Like, I'm fucking exhausted.
Your lull, the bit of lull, the closest thing you had to a break in this one is fucking the Dudley Boys appearing in a car and beating the shit out of New Jack and driving away at 100 miles an hour. So yeah, no, definitely the pacing of these shows.
Yeah, it's too much, I think. And again, I think that comes down to the rowdy sort of bloodthirsty nature of the crowd. Like I get the feeling the ECW crowd never tires ever.
No, but I think maybe
but for me, who's been conditioned on modern day wrestling in particular, this was exhausting.
Yeah, we do like to go to the toilet at some point, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so you know. Taz doing judo flips on Bam Bam Bigelow. I love seeing small guys toss around big guys using their weight against them. It's very awesome. Taz doesn't get credit for his strength, and he shows it a lot in this match, lifting up the heavier Bigelow.
Bigelow's a big man.
Jim Ross, none of the lads were ever calling Taz strong.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think if that, considering how freakishly strong the man
true,
was,
yeah.
I'm wondering if that was a thing. But I mean,
because he fucking is. He's got them big massive legs that can just pop. Like I
mean, he fireman carries Bigelow, like deadlifts him. That's impressive.
That's ridiculous.
Very impressive. They brawl on the ramp, and then Taz kicks him in the face. To which Joey Styles goes, "A lot of people call that a mafia kick, a yakuza kick. Taz calls it the Brooklyn boot." He kicked a man in the head, the old mafia kick for. Seriously, what is that?
Brooklyn boot.
The Brooklyn boot.
Lame.
Yeah. Brooklyn. Cross body off the ramp by Taz is blocked and absorbed by Bam Bam Bigelow. And then we get a crowd brawl. Feelings have been made clear on the crowd brawl before.
Yeah.
Alright, 98 was bad for it. Rock and Triple H were big offenders with their crowd brawling non-stop. Austin as well. But there's a difference between WWF crowd brawling and ECW crowd brawling. WWF have got a couple of cameras and have got lighting, should they need it, and props, you know, and have usually planned to go somewhere and do something. This crowd brawl, I can't see fucking shit.
Even more to the detriment of the show than normal. Yeah.
Alright, see, this is my biggest bugbear with wrestling. I've been watching wrestling for fucking... Jesus, how long have I been watching wrestling for now? Let me think. I've been watching wrestling for like 17 years now. That's a long ass time.
Yeah.
Right, and I still don't get the appeal of crowd brawling. If you're like me at home and you're genuinely confused as to why, like, wrestling just gets boring when guys go into the crowd like this. Please let me know that I'm not alone, because I'm worried that like I'm shitting on matches that people are like, yeah, and then they brawled in the crowd.
No, it is boring though. It's just literally sort of
bop, bop, bop.
I'm going to put my hand on your head and then hit you with my other hand, and then you'll do it back to me, and then we'll move over in front
Great
of that guy.
if you're there in the crowd.
If you're, I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
I get that crowd brawling. If you're there, it must be like so spectacular. You're up close.
And Heyman's probably kind of going saying, you at home going, wow, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Because look what's happening
But
now.
he's clearly not considering the audience that are watching this on TV who don't
Yeah.
get to see Dick Hall during
Exactly,
those bits.
yeah. There's lots of slipping that's masked as offense.
Yeah.
And this is funny, right? This shows you how much they're into it. They're literally in a darkened corner. There's no light on them at all. The camera can't even pick them up. And the crowd is still chanting ECW.
Yeah, they're rabid.
So you're right, they are rabbits.
Yeah.
They will take 5 more hours of this. Taz gets busted open, head back into the ring. Big sick powerbomb by Bam Bam, who then whips Taz straight through a table. And fucking hell, Taz just gets straight up. The no-selling, brother.
Yeah.
And he puts Bigelow through the little bit of the table that didn't break when he went through the
a little
table.
scrap.
He gives a T-bone Tazplex to Bigelow, which is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Beautiful.
amazing. Joey Styles then, towards the end of this match, Taz just does a few stomps and he calls every one of them a Brooklyn boot.
Why?
Like, Bam Bam's on the floor. I fucking walk over here. You stay then. Brooklyn boot there by Taz. Kicks him again. Another Brooklyn boot by Taz.
What's that all about?
Goes to stomp him again. He missed the Brooklyn boot that time. Is Taz like holding up backstage? If you don't call every time my foot goes out, it's a Brooklyn boot, you son of a bit. And then he says, oh, he got clothesline out of his boots. His Brooklyn boots,
Oh,
Joey.
fuck's
Did he
sake.
get clothesline out of his Brooklyn boots, I wonder? It's just...
His equivalent of Booger Red, I guess.
Fucking...
Yeah, every time you say Booger Red.
Brooklyn boot will never get over. I'm just saying, you know. We get a DDT, swinging DDT from Taz through the crepe paper stage, which
Yeah.
I know it's awesome, but it hasn't got the same impact as the ring because that's the ramp, you know.
That could easily be more conceivably gimmicked than the ring could, you know?
It did look a bit
It
crumpled.
looked very hokey.
Yeah. Holy shit chance though, you still get the kind of...
Oh yeah, the crowd aren't going to piss over anything.
No.
Like, they love it all. But.
I will say though, I like the first one. All right, this one I think was them kind of going, well, what can we do to top this? They didn't top it.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of hokey.
Yeah,
But that's
I agree.
I know people will disagree with that assessment though. Both of them get out, and fucking Bigelow is out first, and Douglas is like, Bigelow's out, he's out. I love Douglas in this match is amazing. He hates Taz so much.
Right, can I just say now, Shane Douglas was fucking awesome on commentary throughout all of this.
Yeah.
He would, in the matches that he had nothing to do with, he would call them and he would do a fucking great professional job. Like the Tanaka versus Awesome match, he called that expertly.
Yeah.
But then when it's a match like this where it involves a guy that he's involved with, he does the fucking big ridiculous over the top heel.
Yeah.
It's excellent. He can go from one to the other seamlessly.
Taz comes out and literally just screams and pounces on Bam Bam.
Jumps right on his back into the Taz
Into
mission.
the Taz
yeah.
mission, that Kata Hajime. Taz wins via tap out. Shane is very upset. He calls the decision bogus. And then literally just goes, no! Like he's been defeated. Taz then celebrates, calls out Shane Douglas, says, you know, beat me if you can, survive if I let you, gives him the finger. Taz would obviously go on to become the man.
Yeah.
And become that champion, while Douglas would go on to WCW. What did you think of Taz in ECW? Did he live up?
Fucking excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah, totally. Like, this is the Taz that there's always been, the fabled legend,
Yeah.
like it's always talked about, but I never saw.
Do you think this Taz could have worked in WWF?
Yeah. I think there's no reason for him to have not
right
done this
there
in
for
WWF.
the taking, isn't it?
It was made. The whole gimmick is already done. Like, the hard work is there, it's already been put in. All you got to do is spend a little bit of time putting him over on WWF and, build him up like they did with Kurt Angle, give him a nice organic way up.
Yeah.
But they completely fucked him up.
They just took one look at Jerry Lawler and thought, I've got some ideas for you. You know?
This was little things like the fucking when he jumps on him and slaps the Taz mission at the end. It's only about 3 seconds before Bam Bam taps out. 'Cause it's that horrible move.
Yeah,
It's
it's just awesome. I fucking love it.
amazing.
For our main event, it's the Dudley Boys taking on the Sandman, Spike Dudley, and Tommy Dreamer in a Dudley Bill street fight. The ominous, silent, and evil Dudley Boys entrance. No music for them to be dubbed over.
Yeah.
The bastards. Everyone's got cool, fun music. Dudley Boys are evil. No
fun
music.
here, no.
Love that. Thoughts on Big Dick Dudley?
Well, the first thing I was disappointed because I remember the first time I heard of him was a while ago when I came up with my wrestling gimmick was going to be Big Dick Bibelo before you told me this guy existed.
Big Dick Dudley, yeah.
I was a little pissed off because he's not doing the gimmick justice, I don't think. Like, with me,
is his dick not big enough?
the gimmick would have been based around the dick, you know?
It would have been based around the girth, the length.
It would have, the whole thing would have been like, you know, about the dick. And to him, it's just more of a pun, I think. It's just a silly name.
They're just alluding to the dick, they're not outright stating it.
I can't help but like, I mean, I don't know how significant he was, but to me, as a man that's always known Bubba and Devon by themselves, he does just feel tacked on. I don't know if he was organically, like, you know, originally one of the three Dudley boys.
Yeah, he was part of like that kind of. There was many iterations of the Dudley family, but he would have been like the muscle. Would have more been part of the entourage. It was still very much
the actual
Bubba and
core
Devon.
team. Yeah,
we've also chatted about the Dudley boys and them getting over in WWF and whatnot. They go on. They do the promos basically here. The ones we were talking about, where they're riding down the fans. What did you think of these in the ring?
Honestly, like, genuinely, I knew the kind of caliber of heel work to expect from the Dudley Boys.
I've shown you the one.
Showed me the
famous that being in this miserable piece of shit building makes me fucking sick.
This woman here is only good for teaching her daughter how to give blowjobs.
That one, yeah.
So I knew that kind of thing. I did get worked by the sheer, like, the length that they
Longer
go to
than the
here.
match.
Yeah, this is like 10, 15 minutes they spend hyping themselves up.
Because I'm on the network, right? It's like, there's the end, even the milestones of the network, the little dots that show you the bits, right?
Start of the match, end of the match,
And there's a bit there saying, right, that's the end of Bam Bam and Taz. And there's a huge fucking gap.
Gulf in between.
And I'm thinking, did Chris Benoit wrestle on this show? Like, did he show up for a bit that's been hidden away? But no, these lads talk for a genuine 20 minutes.
And again, effective. Like, made me hate them, made me want to see them get beat up.
And at this time, here they are, the Trans-Coastal, Transcontinental, and Intergalactic Six-Man Tag Team Champions of the Wrestling World. First, from the Twisted Steel section of Dudleyville, 368 pounds, 26 1/2 inches of arms attached to the man who can rip the Guinness Book in half with his bare hands and beat the snot out of Ripley, believe it or not, pro wrestling's only real mastodon, Big Dick Dudley.
Talk about a criminal.
Representing the south side of Dudleyville and weighing in at a slim, trim, buff, cut, ripped. No, I didn't say Stud Muffin says. Weight unknown, here's Devon Dudley. And his half-brother and tag team partner hails from metropolitan Dudleyville and weighs in at a rough, ready, riled up, rowdy, and rambunctious 350 pounds. He is the man that helped drive Beulah's head into the canvas with such impact, she didn't know whether to urinate, defecate, or ejaculate. Bubba Ray Dudley!
Somebody cut his mic!
Joel Gertner.
Yeah.
What do you think of Joel?
Now, I get the feeling that he's one of these guys that is held in very high, like, nostalgia and love. But he fucking, again, could be just effective heel work. Did my head in.
I think I'll show you a compilation of Joel before, because he's very, very sexual, what he says.
You don't say. He crosses a few boundaries.
He crosses all of the, but he is like, man, I put him up there. He's like Neil Hamburger or something like that, almost, just to the point of parody. And he was so funny, the things he would come up with.
It's hard to judge him based on this one appearance, I guess. I mean,
it was always it was a juxtaposition. He would say something really fucking like Jesus, like talk about something really crass and really fucking visual and really gross, and then he would tie in with something like, oh, I'm like a Rubik's Cube, because the more you play with it, the harder it gets.
A tasty one-liner.
Yeah, it'll be kind of like, and then like, Gertner, sadly not long for the wrestling business, I think.
Yeah.
He could fit in this point in time.
I am giving him the benefit of the doubt because I know he has got this sort of reputation and people love him.
Yeah.
But I think
Seek him out more.
If I didn't know that he had that reputation, I think I would have flat out fucking hated this guy.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, he really got
So
under
the
my skin.
entourage then, like signed Guy Dudley as well, like the fact that he introduces everyone individually, the quiet behind the riot, the silence behind the violence.
Yeah.
Like, I love how Gertner gave everyone like Bubba's from the metropolitan side.
They're all from different districts.
You know,
of
the steel sector of Dudley. You know, I love that he kind of give everyone a little gimmick like that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's cool.
It's really, really cool, definitely. But yeah, it went on too long.
Yeah, this reminds me, actually, I remember as a kid, like, you got this a little tiny bit in WWF, the sort of the building up what Dudleyville was meant to be.
Yeah,
like,
what is it about? Much more expanded on here in
I remember the Vegas we got in was like at WrestleMania 17 or something, where Paul Heyman starts talking about how the Dudley's father was involved in construction.
Big Daddy Dudley. Well, the gimmick was that Big Daddy Dudley was like a traveling salesman, and he bedded like every woman in Dudleyville.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Oh, he did. That's why.
There's actually a proper mythos.
Yeah, that's why Bubba and Devon are half brothers. Their dad is Big Daddy Dudley, and obviously
brothers from another mother.
Brothers from another mother, and that's why it was ridiculous. Where you had dances with Dudley because Big Daddy Dudley spent time on the Indian reservation outside of Dudleyville, and everyone had kind of like a link up like that. So yeah, that's kind of, they did do it eventually with that. At one point, Gertner refers to them as being the intergalactic 6-man tag team champions. And Chikara, I think it's time for you to activate those fucking belts, mate. Yeah, I'm just saying. They're talking about how they've broken Beulah's neck.
Yeah.
Kind of pushing the line a little bit.
The skankiest prostitute in wrestling, our valet Beulah McGillislutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, the ham-fisted. On the nose heel tag.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because that's probably the shit that the crowd would chant at her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just like,
she's the face.
Joey Styles goes, somebody cut his mic. And I imagine this is the difference between ECW and WWF, right? WWF, if someone came out and started talking shit like this, boom, music hits, runs to the ring.
Yeah.
Heyman obviously runs a very tight shit, go, no, let them finish, it's their time, you're not allowed to run out.
Yeah.
That's
a good point, yeah.
Good point. Sandman, Dreamer, and Spike lose almost all of their mystique with their entrance music not being there.
Yeah, shit.
So again, I don't think you should judge Sandman maybe without seeing...
Oh, no, I will say I have seen Sandman's proper entrance.
Oh, the one night stand, with
Enter Sandman.
Okay, that's just good to know.
And I won't deny that was one of the coolest entrances I've seen in wrestling. Yeah. Just, like, everything about me tells me that it should be stupid and shouldn't work.
It works for
fucking
him.
Brilliant.
Definitely. Fuck him up, Sandman, fuck him up, chance to start us off. Folks, he can't fuck him up as much as he's fucked himself up at this point. Devon and Tommy Dreamer start things off. Really great wrestling. I love the fact that these two were never shy at showing us that they could wrestle.
Yeah.
And you're expecting this to be a garbage brawl. It does, get elements of that later on.
Yeah.
But you do get swift chain wrestling at the start. Fucking love it. Amazing. They're like squaring off, flipping over, one-upping each other. Devon gets one over on Dreamer and just goes, I'm fucking mad. I could then watch these guys who tag in Spike Dudley and Bubba Ray. I have said this before about other elements of wrestling, but if I could watch Bubba Ray Dudley throw Spike Dudley around, slam him, powerbomb him, peel him, whatever, I could watch that non-stop. That would be my wrestling equivalent of a last meal. Just the ferocity, that mic'd up ring that you mentioned, Adam.
Yeah.
When Bubba Ray looks like he is throwing that 150-pound man as hard as he can. And Bubba Ray's a big fat fucking fucker here. Fuck me.
Yeah, he's just tossing him around.
Literally.
It's unfair.
Like. It is. You feel so bad for poor fucking Spike here. He gets killed.
I fucking love